Good morning, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? Happy Thursday. We got football tonight. We got football tomorrow, football Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Another normal weekend. All right, so let's take a look at our gold and silver. As we always start class with this. So right now, gold sitting at 37.28. It was 37.60. And then the U.S. is getting a hold of it, and they dumped it. They dumped it a lot yesterday. China brought it back. Now they're dumping a little, but it should get back into the 37.50s. Again, it's totally price fixed by options. It's got nothing to do with real supply demand, real people buying gold and silver. Silver 44.63. So it was really close to 45. So we are getting this. As soon as this breaks 50, this goes to 100 and then to 500. So buy right now. And then this 37.28, it's okay. But it does that. It's the way the nature of the game is. The COMEX is a game. It's not real. It's not, I want to buy gold. Oh, you're selling it like we would with Canadian Club or Mantle Cards or anything else where what's it selling for? That's what I'll pay for it. This is totally got nothing to do with that. This is just strictly their the options control the price, not the market. It's very dangerous. It's very undervalued, very low. Keep that in mind. This is 37.29 for gold's a joke. Multiplied by 10 at least. And it's because of the suppression. It's because of that COMEX where, like today, okay, so everybody wants gold. Everybody's collapsing. Everybody's printing their money to death. Every country. No, wait, gold just went down from 37.58 to 37.20, like 26. Why? Nobody's selling an ounce of gold. And even if they did, it wouldn't register. As I said, everybody here could buy 100 tons of gold and it wouldn't move the price, or we could sell 100 tons of gold, provided we had 100 tons, and it wouldn't move the price because the price is controlled by the options, not the free market. Just like I show you Eddie Murphy and Trading Places. They sat there and dicked around with options and it went up to 142 and they sold it and it went down to 29. Is that the price of orange juice? No, it's just option pricing. It's bullshit. COMEX is bullshit. Just like a Bitcoin, just like this stable coin, just like bonds, they're all bullshit. Stocks aren't real prices. So the reason stocks are in trouble is because they're overvalued. People, I think, are understanding the dollar's going out. And so they're understanding it. So they sit there and they go, well, if the dollar is going out, then what do we do? And we can't leave our money in the bank. Well, we're too stupid to understand gold and silver. And then so we're going to go into stocks. We'll buy Amazon and we'll buy Microsoft and the big 7 or whatever they're the big 14 or the big 21, whatever the fuck they want to call it. Yeah, I don't know why the defense contractor stocks aren't in there. They're going up. But they're false. The real value of a stock is their earnings. So let's say Microsoft should be about 50, but their stock sells for 300, or Tesla. Well, it's not a real price. It's the government putting money in. So that's why you're going to lose in your stocks, because you're not getting their fair value. The only thing you're getting fair value, and actually the value is under what it should be, is gold and silver. That real value, again, the real value is here, and the COMEX price is here. And everything else in stocks, the uh, the real value is here and the stock is here. So Apple's up here, but the real value is here. So you want to buy it here? No, this is where it is. This is where you should be buying it. And if it's up here, you shouldn't be buying it. Well, I'm going to go broke with my money because money's not worth anything. Well, hiding it in the stock market's not going to help you either. I talked to my friend this morning and he says, look out for October. And I says, yeah, that's when all the crashes happen in the stock market is October because the portfolio managers are trying to get out of their bad positions. So the portfolio managers go in at a certain price. And when they're losing money, they bail, and they bail in October. So if they're losing it all, they're dumping in October. And then year end, they go, oh, look how good we did. That's why you get it. It's overvalued. Stocks are up here. The market's here and the stock's up here. And I should say the value of the company's here and all the stock prices are up here. So again, it's not close to this is reality. This is what's called the bubble. This is the bubble. The bubble is this is worth this, but the price is here. That's what a bubble is. Stocks, houses, real estate, commercial real estate, bonds, it's all bullshit. The only thing it's not is gold and silver. It's reversed. The real market's here, and the COMEX is keeping the price down because they want you into the stocks. And if you notice, the financial planner will never tell you to get into gold because he gets no commission on it. So he's only going to tell you to get into things that have commission. And that's what we have. So again, just be careful with that. That's what you are trying to understand. All right. So up silver 44.70. Seems like it's up 70, 80 cents every day. And gold 37.28. Just give it time. It'll be 3,800. There's too much demand for it. Even though it's fake, they can't really keep doing the options because then they ask to deliver the gold, the people buying the options. So right now, the U.S. is selling the option, pushing the price down. But what happens is China sits there and buys them. They go, well, we want to take the delivery of the gold because they can't find gold for 37.28 in China and Russia, anywhere. It's probably 39, 4,000. That's the real value. Well, the real value is much higher, but so the only way they can get 37.31 is to buy it on COMEX, take delivery of the gold on the options, which is why there's still play. Why the U.S. is still shorting it, because where are they going to get the money for the gold or anything else is ridiculous. I was watching something on this Bitcoin stable coin, Sailor idiot talking, and Sailor goes, well, we'll just collapse gold. We'll just inflate the money, which will collapse the gold price. Oh, do you think it works like that, Sailor? It doesn't work like that. The flaw in his formula. Gold doesn't need to be priced in dollars. Gold will always have value as gold. The dollar will flat, which will kill Bitcoin and stablecoin. But gold does not need to be priced in dollars and will not go to zero. Your house will, your company will, your bank account will, but not gold. Gold and silver are priced. They don't need to be priced in dollars. They can be priced in gold. Don't ever forget that. So therefore, the gold price is always, much. It's sort of like, let's take a look at the Rolex. The $100,000 Rolex watch. So you think if you have heavy inflation, it'll be worth zero? It'll be worth zero in dollars, but it'll always have a value in gold or whatever currency comes up. That's what you got to understand. The value in the other currency is, the currency will change. So everything in the US dollar goes to zero. That's the whole point of it. However, if it's a valuable item, like a Rolex, like a Mantle card, like a Picasso, like a Van Gogh, it will hold its value and be valued in whatever is the medium of exchange. Whatever money you want to use, gold or silver, it'll have value. a USD backed by gold, it'll have value. So that's what happens. The things that are worthless go away, but like your house gets revalued in whatever the new currency is. So you can't get rid of the $37 trillion debt by coming up with a new currency. It'll go zero in your currency, but then you come out with whatever medium of exchange you're using. Again, remember the way the market works. I go to work, I make money, and then I take my money and spend. So when I get Teaserking money in, I go to the gold store and use it, or to the grocery store, to the restaurants. I use it that way. That's the point. That's how the medium of exchange works. You have to have something to get paid in and pay out in. You have to get a paycheck. Nobody's working for zero. You got to get a paycheck. So all that's happening is the collapse of the dollar. The dollar goes away. Things priced in dollars go to zero until we have a new currency, which says, okay, it'll be gold backed, silver backed, or maybe it won't be backed by anything. And then we're in the same situation we're in. That's why everybody goes to the gold standard, is to keep the value of their money. The problem is these idiots in charge now don't. Good morning, David. They don't, because what they do is they sit there and they go, well, if we have the gold standard, we can't have wars, so we can't bribe people. We can't have defense contractors. We can't print money, and because to keep the government going. If you had the gold standard, the government would be 1/10 of the size. You would never have a war because you won't have enough money to have a war. Wars are very expensive, and the stock market would not be 46,000; it would be 5,000, which is what it really should be. Also, the inflation is making things look better than they are, but that's what's happening. So yes, the currencies are losing value. However, gold is still going up in value. It's not just going up because the currency is going down. It's going up because of the huge demand for it. Just like my Canadian club, if there was one case of it, and there's one case is 12 bottles, and there was 25 people that want it, that would push the price up. Now, even though the dollar's losing money and the price is going up because the dollar's losing money, you still have the demand for it pushes price up also. And that's what these people seem to miss, is they don't get that the value of the dollar going down, but it's not that much of a correlation. Oh yeah, okay, a 2-liter Coke is $3.50 now. Okay, that's correlated to inflation. But why isn't it $25? Because the market won't take it. All right, that leads us to Las Vegas. I was watching this Las Vegas one. We'll get to this at the end, but it's basically Las Vegas going dead again, and we talked about it, and it's the market where they're trying to create a new market, one that takes this is where these finance people are so fucking stupid on Wall Street, and the banks and the investment bankers, Vanguard, BlackRock, they're clueless. These people are idiots, right? Just because you give them $20,000 for your thing, they don't own the $20,000. They invest the $20,000. There's a big difference there. And they don't know what they're doing. You can't make a market. You follow the market. In other words, Say's law, we create the market. We want to go to Vegas, but we don't want to pay parking fees. We don't want to pay resort fees. We don't want to pay $60, $80 buffets. We don't want to pay expensive drinks. We don't want to pay to watch a football game. That's Say's law. That's the market that we are. You're trying to shove all this shit down our throats, and we're saying, fuck you. We don't want it. Pure and simple. We're like, no, this isn't what we want. I don't buy those online apps. I think they're stupid. It's not Vegas. It's not sitting in the Caesar Sportsbook that's all dark with 6 football games on it. No, it's not the same experience. So I don't know what that is, but basically that's what you have. You have the they don't understand what a market is, and they are trying to force, and they're trying to add things. And I keep hearing, well, they have record earnings, record earnings. Well, no, they don't. They have nobody coming. The title of the piece is Nobody in Vegas. Well, how do you have record earnings when you don't have anybody there? You did have record earnings once when you fooled the people the first time, but then you don't have repeat customers. So you don't have repeat customers. So therefore you don't have a market and you don't have earnings. You have, once you had record earnings, and now it's gone. All right. So let's start with pro football. We'll get back to Vegas, but it's the goal is teaching you about the market. It's teaching you Say's law. It's teaching you that we work to make a medium of exchange, which right now is this, which it's going to be replaced with a gold back or a silver back dollar, or it won't survive. And crypto is not real. I'm so tired of there's this one person that keeps WhatsApping me, and it's like, oh, I want to buy digital gold. I want to buy paper gold. I want to, and I'm going to have this and that. And I keep going, no, you want physical gold. And she keeps asking me, and it's like, okay, dude, shut the fuck up. I got to keep explaining it to you. What are you, like 5 years old? You buy physical because they can't fuck with it. They can't Attack on Wall Street guy lose 60,000 because they delisted his real estate trust. Can't happen in gold, physical gold. It can happen in paper gold, digital. What if you can't get on the internet? I had that the other day. I had a hard time with the internet. Well, you saw the internet blew up yesterday. I didn't mean to. Normally, I would say goodbye and everything, and I saw my little internet interruption, and there was nothing I could do. But anyway, you want physical because they can't fuck with it. All right, let's look at the NFL today. We'll get more into it as we go. We have 2 locks going, I believe. Do I have 2 locks? I think I have 2 locks going, but I think they're in. What do I got here? I do have 2 locks. I have a college lock and a pro lock. I have a pro. So right now I have 1 pro lock and 1 pro college pick, but I'm going to add 4 or 5 college pros. I'm waiting on the injuries. The injuries are coming like Wednesday night. So I do have that. Tonight we got Seattle 1.5, 43.5. To Arizona. Arizona, an under team with a 17 defense, and Seattle an 18 with a 16. How good's Darnold, or is he only good in the regular season? Arizona seems to have this good defense. They played the Niners tough. It was hard because they haven't really played a good quarterback. They played Steve Young, then they played Radler, and then last week they played Mac Jones. So they really don't know. Darnold's a little bit better than those, but not much. Darnold against Murray. No big teaser trends. Seattle, don't trust the road favorite. They're a good road dog. They're actually good on the road. And Arizona is more of an under team. Not a great home team. Not great in a teaser because they just don't have the offense. They got Kyler Murray, but he runs around. The defense, I don't know. It's a 17 right now. We'll see. At home. Again, it's Thursday night, and I hate Thursday night games. You got Seattle traveling, which can't be good. And we will see. So let's keep an eye on that. I honestly don't know. I would have taken Seattle as the dog, but I don't like them at 1.5. I don't love Arizona as the dog. It's a tough play. Seattle with the 16 defense, Arizona with the 17. Maybe it's lower scoring. Hard to say. All right. And I did not play this one. All right. Sunday morning, we've got Minnesota 2.5, 40.5 to Pittsburgh. We got Carson Wentz going against Aaron Rodgers. I believe Carson Wentz. JJ McCarthy's like, you suck. And let's see if there's any injuries here. Like, not that who cares if J.J. McCarthy plays? J.J. McCarthy's out. Aaron Jones is out with the hamstring. Harrison Smith's questionable. Now, this is all last week. We don't have current injuries. And Pittsburgh's getting their defense back. They've had a safety and a linebacker and a defensive tackle out. That's why they're giving up 35 points a game. Or I should say, now it's down to 26. But they're, I believe, back, and we'll find that out. We'll check covers real quick. But anyway, talk about traveling on a Thursday. This is traveling on a Sunday, and it's at morning. Wentz against Rodgers. Mini, another team. Great defense, 19 defense. And Pitt, more of an over team because they're scoring with Rodgers, but they're giving up 26 with their defense. So just remember, this is Sunday morning. Again, I don't know. I don't like really either team. I would like Pitt as the dog if they had a defense, but I don't know where that is. We'll see if these injuries make a difference. Again, reading the travel, and playing Sunday morning, you're getting them out of the rhythm. They're making gambling harder and harder on the football because here's a Thursday night game. Here's a Sunday morning, and we're going to fly them to Ireland. We had the Brazil game. So it just makes it very difficult because what we want is Sunday morning at 1, Sunday at 1, Sunday at 4, and a Monday night game. That's what we want. We don't want Thursday games because the players get out of schedule and you don't really know what you're getting. And it's a quick week. Like here, I would never take Seattle as the favorite because they got a short week, travel to Arizona. Is Arizona any good? Well, we'll find out tonight. All right. The Eagles at Tampa. Mike Evans is out, but the other guy is trying to practice. The guy who's been injured, I can't remember his name. The other good receiver, he's supposedly trying to get back. Now, I haven't heard yet. We probably won't know till Saturday, but Philly 3.5, 43.5. Let's see if there's any threes. So when I go into details, it shows me all the casinos, right? So, yeah, they're all 3.5. Okay. So, Philly, the B team, 21 defense. Jalen Hurts sucks against Tampa Bay and the E team with the 22 defense, and Baker, who's very good. Baker's so much better than Hurts. Hurts is only there for the tush push. That's it. That's his role. Hand the ball off to Barkley, throw it a little to the tight end, and do the tush push. That's his role. Anybody that says he's elite got their head up their ass. He did nothing in the Super Bowl. It was the defense that won it. Barkley didn't do anything either in the Super Bowl. But when you got a pick six and another pick to the 10-yard line and you push tushing, that helped. You had a few good passes, but you didn't win because of Jalen Hurts. You won because of Jalen Carter. Okay. So this is a good game. Philly I got as a B team and Tampa's an E, like I said. Pretty even game, but without Mike Evans, you can't lose a wide receiver like that. Will the pressure bother Baker? I don't know. He won at Detroit last year, so it didn't really – he was able to handle it. I think – didn't they lose to Tampa Bay in the playoffs? The Rams lost to Philly, and I think Tampa Detroit beat Washington. I don't know. Tampa might have lost to whoever. Oh, no, they probably beat Minnesota. I don't remember. But anyway, Tampa's good at home. They're very good in a teaser. Better than Philly in a teaser. You get 9.5. Total of 44.5. Philly you got to be careful with because you're going to get an Army-Navy game. You're getting very good defense, and they want to run Barkley. It's if they get the turnovers, then they turn it into an over. Tampa, Baker's good. He'll score for you. This is a tough one. 44.5, 24-20, and then you tease it. You can go over 38, which is 20 to 17's 37. That seems doable. I mean, Philly's defense is okay, but they're 21 and Tampa's 22. Unlike tonight, 16 and 17 for Seattle and Arizona. We'll go through injuries in a minute. I didn't really see much. I saw a lot of questionables. I saw very few key players out, but I don't know what they're doing now. It's like Wednesday night they're going through the injuries. So even Monday and Tuesday were blind. Some games I like to bet because I like the line. I did make a big bet on my game. I bet it on Tuesday. And that's my lock is Tuesday. Actually, no, it's actually our so the lock I bet on Tuesday and a free play, and Detroit I played on Tuesday, giving the 7.5 before now it's up to 9.5, 10. Okay. Buffalo down to 15.5. Let's see if we can get a 15. 15.5. Nope, 15.5. 47.5. So what you got is we can get Buffalo under 10. They are at home. New Orleans is terrible. Let's see. Buffalo is an over team, 24 defense. So that's why they're over, but they're scoring. So if they get that down to 20, then they're an 18, which is what Buffalo is. Josh Allen against Spencer Rattler. I got New Orleans is a Z team, a 30 defense, and Rattler. So Buffalo, if they're motivated at all, should score 40 points in this game. And New Orleans, maybe 14. That's what should happen. Are they motivated? Buffalo at home. Are they who they looking ahead to? Is there a Kansas City? I know Kansas City's got to play all the big boys. Let's take a look at their schedule. The Bills. Upcoming. After New Orleans, they got it pretty soft. They got New England. That's an easy win. Atlanta. Carolina's an easy win. And then KC's 11-2. Then Miami, Tampa Bay, Houston, Pitt, Cincinnati, New England. Cleveland, Philly, and the JETSs. That's what we have. And it's so there's no there's really no game that they got to be looking at. Just a second. All right. So really, Buffalo's got nothing. They got New England, Atlanta, Carolina, until KC. And then at KC's where they got something. So, I would assume they'll just go out and attack. I don't really see why they would not focus. So this under 10, let's see if we can get it a little lower. But I think Buffalo is very live this week, just because New Orleans is so bad. Now, how bad are they? Can they not score on Buffalo? Is Buffalo going to put up a 40? Do we maybe play the game over? It's 48.5, 47.5. Even better. Are we counting on New Orleans to score at all? So we're either taking Buffalo because New Orleans won't score, or New Orleans is going to score and you go over with it. Food for thought. New England, 4.5, 42.5. Let's see. This one was 5.5. That's still 5.5. I hate when they do that. It's 5.5, and DraftKings has 4.5, and they use the DraftKings one instead of taking the concentrate the whatchamacallit, the consensus. 5.5 and 43. We'll leave it at that. Both teams are under. Carolina with a pretty good defense in 18, and they played Atlanta and shut them out. You got to give them credit. And then New England. Steve Young and May, they both suck. Is New England a weak favorite? Yes, anytime. They're always a weak favorite. You got Carolina. Is their defense really this good? They were 31. Is there an 18? We played 3 weeks. Have they played anybody good? Let's see who Carolina has played that would justify this defense. Jacksonville, they lost 26-10. Arizona, they lost 27-22. And then they gave up nothing to Atlanta. Nothing here makes sense that they get killed by Jacksonville and Arizona, and they beat my Atlanta team. That's really strange. But they're giving up 26-27. So I don't buy this 18 at all. It's just they shut out Atlanta on some pick sixes. They're not scoring a lot. So I'm not going to buy it. I do buy them giving it, let's call it a 21 defense, not an 18. I don't buy that for a minute. New England, we know, is a 23. And, they lost to the Raiders, and they, they're in trouble. So they don't score with Drake May. So what do you do with this game? Young, 277 yards a game total for Carolina. So not a big offensive effort. Drake May will run around. Carolina, they don't appear to be this super team with the 26 and the 27 to Jacksonville and Arizona, 2 pretty weak offenses. So this is a curious one. Again, you have this weak scheduling where you got Kansas City playing Baltimore and Philadelphia and San Diego and Denver. And then you got Carolina playing Arizona and Atlanta and Jacksonville. So it's a tough, we don't really know yet. I don't know which. This really wouldn't surprise me if this was an under, and it wouldn't really surprise me if it's an over. Young can't do much. Drake May, he'll run around. They got the runner. I don't know. I think New England's a weak favorite here, but I'm not taking Carolina. Never. All right, Washington, Atlanta. Hey, Todd. A lot of better games this week to bet on in college. Last week was a disaster. Picking the Lions in Green Bay, North Texas over in Ohio. Your thoughts? Well, Detroit looked really good. All I can say is Detroit looked really good beating Baltimore. They got Cleveland, who's fairly good defense. The line jumped up. What's Detroit now? Detroit's, let's see, it says 10, but we always know there's multiples, 9.5, 9.5. So Detroit, you're laying, it's tough because you're laying 3.5 or 4, unless you got it in. Now my free play, I got in at 7.5 Monday night, Tuesday morning. I took them as the free play at 7.5. That's why I did it. That's why I do this, because I didn't see any injuries. They look good. They got their loss. Detroit should win, but Cleveland's got a tough defense. So if you got it in at 7.5 when I gave it free, then yes. If it's under 3, yeah, Detroit. Obviously they're the free play. Your other one, Green Bay. Well, Dallas, CD Lamb's out, as far as I know. They got Dak Prescott throwing 2 picks a game. You got Micah Parsons. Now, I don't know what happened, if he's mad at Dallas or not. I think he is. You've got Dallas, who looked like shit last week against fucking Bears. Green Bay, I mean, from what they said, we shouldn't have lost the game, and they probably weren't intense. So will they be more intense to play Dallas? I don't know. Are they only a home team? I don't know. I don't like Jordan Love that much. With Micah Parsons, they look like a real strong team, and they're playing Dallas, who I think sucks. Dallas, though, without CeeDee Lamb, I'm going to say Dallas is even. Without CeeDee Lamb, I'm going to say Dallas is really in trouble because Dak with his 2 picks. All right, they'll throw to Pickens, but Green Bay, I think Green Bay will be upset about the loss. I was shocked they lost the 10-0 lead with 3 minutes left. That was one of my locks last week, was Green Bay. And they lost, and then they go and they get that. But anyway, let me go through this, and then we'll look at the other. Let me just go through this. So Washington, Atlanta, Penix questionable with the knee. No, Penix is I guess fine. I don't see him on the injured list, and Daniels. I keep mixing those two up. They're about the same, and Daniels with the knee. So it's all up to Daniels playing. Penix, you can't blame Penix. The interceptions are not his fault. The receivers are running the wrong route, which is what the problem is with the young quarterback. So why would you ever play Cam Ward or even Caleb or these guys that aren't really ready? They need to practice the receivers and know what they're going to do. You're going to cut across the middle. I'm going to throw it there. But if you don't know what the receiver is going to do, you're going to throw interceptions that aren't your fault because you're basing it on he's going to go there and then he doesn't. And that's the problem. So I don't blame Penix. I was shocked Kirk Cousins came in late. What do we want to see that idiot for? Yeah, I got Washington. What do we got? 1.5, 45.5. Washington's showing a 19 defense, which is nice. Atlanta at 20. Atlanta's got the 2 new edge rushers, first-round picks. I don't know. If Daniels and Penix are there, I think it's an over game. If Daniels is out, I think Atlanta's a live dog with Penix. So it's really a tough call here until we know who the quarterbacks are. Now, as I said, Detroit figured 9.5, 44.5 to Cleveland. Cleveland with the strong defense. Myles Garrett, the guy from Penn State. Flacco is not great. They should never have beat Green Bay. It was a fluke that they happened to get the blocked field goal and tie the game up, get another block or miss, and then win the game at the end. So really, they had no business being in the game. But when you fix games, then that's what happens. Detroit looks good. I think they wanted to prove a point by beating Baltimore because I keep calling them chokers. And they can't win a big game. And so they finally win at Baltimore. It was Monday night. So you don't know with Detroit. Again, Flacco, they I guess will put pressure on Flacco. They're going to run it down Cleveland's throat if you can with Myles Garrett and the guy from Penn State. Could definitely make it a little more difficult. Detroit needs the trick plays to win, which is always a concern that you can't just run it down their throats and score, that you actually have to do trick plays. So I don't know. I think Detroit win. I'd be shocked if Cleveland won the game. As long as you're under 3, I think you're okay. That was the gist of the free play, was 7.5. Houston and Tennessee. Houston 7, 38.5. Tennessee's a Z team. They're terrible with Ward. 31 defense. Houston, no offense, great defense. They're an under team with a 17 and Stroud, who looks like shit. Again, he's got injuries, although Nico Collins looks pretty good. So all I can say here is Houston's 0-3. Now, are they a Z team going to go 0-17, or are they better than that? Defensively, they're better than that. Offensively, they're an 0-17 team. However, you got Tennessee with the 31 defense and no offense. Look for Houston to score a little bit on defense, maybe. Probably a low-scoring game. I don't know. There's no way Ward's going to score, and Stroud looks terrible. So, this will be a tough one. Hi, DeAndre. Battle of the 0-3s. It was a whole lot of difference between Tennessee and Houston record-wise. Houston played tough games. They played the Rams, and last week, who did they play last week? Last week was Jacksonville, who's not very good, but okay. And meanwhile, Tennessee just sucks. So there's Tennessee's a Z team. So call it like this: Tennessee is Z team, Houston an under team. Great defense. Their defense is a 17. Tennessee's is a 31. I can't imagine Houston going 0-3, getting Tennessee on the plate and not burying Tennessee. I'd be shocked. San Diego 643.5 to the GIANTSS. The Giants. San Diego, the A team, one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the league. 17 defense, and Herbert is playing well, and they got good running, good receivers. Keenan Allen just knows how to get open. He did it for the Bears last year. I can't believe they didn't sign him. It was only guys Caleb can throw to was Keenan Allen. The Giants, W team, 28 defense. Looked like shit last week. Kansas City got him, and here you got Jackson Dart starting. What did I just say? He doesn't know where his receivers are going to go. And it's a whole lot of difference in practice from the game. You got guys rushing you, which you don't in practice. You got to read the cornerback and the safety. What are they doing? Where can I throw the ball? Am I going to get my receivers killed? Is the guy going to go up and turn right, or is he going to turn left? You have no idea. This is a terrible idea, Dart, especially against San Diego. Oh, well, we have to get him out there and then he'll learn. Bullshit. That's not how you learn pro football or golf. No, you got to go to the driving range before you can play on the course. So that's like saying, well, he'll go on the golf course and he'll learn that way. No, he won't learn shit that way. You got to practice your putting and practice your chipping and practice your drives before you can go on the course. And the same thing here. These guys, pick a sport, baseball, basketball. You got to work on your shot in basketball. Baseball, if you're a pitcher, you got to work on your pitches. You can't just go out there. So why do they think Jackson Dart, who was not that good at Ole Miss, he had some games, but he's a runner. He's not a another athletic running quarterback, but not a actual throwing quarterback. It's really ridiculous. Going against San Diego, I don't smell that one at all. Not a real good time to put Jackson Dart out. Put Russell Wilson out. You have a chance. So you're giving up. Basically, you're giving up, or you're basically listening. The owner's making the decision. So let him coach then, right? The 49ers, 3.5, 47.5. Jacksonville, a B team, 17 defense. We got Trevor Lawrence, who's terrible against, I don't know if it's Purdy or Jones. Let's see if we get some help by the injuries. It's a little early. Frisco's injuries. Jennings is questionable. Oh, okay, Brock Purdy's questionable with the toe. Usyk, the fullback's doubtful with the concussion on the 16th. So all we got for this week is Brock Purdy questionable and Jennings questionable. Jacksonville, I have no idea who Dynami Brown is or Mordecaric Brown. Who are these? Where do they get these names from? But these are older ones, so I don't know. So it looks like McCafferty's okay. Debo Samuel is on Washington. I don't know what that was about. Ayuk's injured. Kittle is injured. I love how they Joe Burrow's out, but on the injury report he's not listed. And you're like, but he's out. Like we know Joe Burrow's out. All right. This is a tough one. Jacksonville with the 17 defense, the Niners with the 16 defense. The Niners have been playing under games. They don't have an offense at all. Their defense, Bosa is out for the year with I think it's an MCL tear. So he's gone, Bosa. So your defense got a lot weaker. I don't know. This is a crapshoot. Maybe Frisco's a weak favorite here. But how do you really trust Jacksonville? And they got to go from Florida to San Francisco. Good luck on that one. So this is a very tricky one. Indy goes to the Rams, another Midwest going to the West Coast. The Rams 3.5, 49.5. We got Indy as an A team, 19 defense. So they're playing well defensively. Now, Daniel Jones isn't doing shit. It's mostly Jonathan Taylor running down the throat. It's a 3 and a 49. You got the Rams are a B team looking good, a 20 defense, 364 total offense, and Stafford, who's playing very well. It's a tough one. You can take, let's see if there's a 3. Rams are 3.5, 3.5. Nope, they're all 3.5. So it's tough taking the Rams plus only 2.5 because they could easily win by 3. Is Indy this good? Is their defense this good? I really don't see the Rams losing at home. Indy's got to fly to the West Coast. Is Indy the type of team that's going to LA or Frisco and winning? Again, Indy and Jacksonville, they're like a butterfly that's like a moth, a caterpillar, and they're turning into a butterfly. We don't know what we have with those two teams yet. This will be a good thing. Indy going to the Rams, we will see. If Indy goes and beats the Rams in LA, which I will be surprised with, then, okay, I'm taking Indy as a dog now. They're live. Same thing. Jacksonville beating the Niners. The Niners are a little bit weak. Seeing if Purdy plays, McCaffrey, how's their defense? So we will see. But two good tests for these teams so we can identify, are they real or not? We don't know, and we don't want to get burnt by taking them. So be careful. I would take either LA. Maybe I go with the total in the game. It's 49. Not sure. The Bears in Oakland. I got 8 different lines on this game. The Bears I got Raiders -1. The Bears -1. Oakland -1.5. Oakland -1. The Bears -1.5. Oakland -1.5. Oakland -0.5, -1, and -1. So I have Bears -1. I have Oakland -1. I don't know what you want to call this. There's no way Caleb can be a road favorite. Not going to happen. Not against anybody. Oakland, I would assume, will put pressure on him. If you put pressure on him, he's nothing. They're starting to run a little of the Lions trick plays because it's Ben Johnson. Okay. But Oakland's going to run Gentry down their throat and Brock Bowers down their throat. He was a little banged up last week, but he's better. I don't know what happened in the Washington game that it was so high scoring. My friend said Oakland didn't have an offensive line. Okay, well, they can work on that. But the Bears really, do they have a defense that's going to stop Gentry and Brock Bowers and Chip Kelly? So they're pretty live. Oakland at home, I would think, are going to play better off of this loss. Coach Pete does not. You don't lose by 20 for Coach Pete and not come back strong. So I think it's a Coach Pete game. I would just tease whatever dog you prefer. Chicago with the 31 defense, Oakland with the 25. Total of 47 in the game. I don't. This would probably be an over. Again, I don't really like Caleb, and then the defense has been injured. 3 cornerbacks have been out, and one of them's pretty good. So if he plays, maybe that helps him. And Oakland, again, we're trying to find out their offensive line and their defense. Baltimore, KC, here we go. KC 2.5, or Baltimore 2.5, 48.5. Line really hasn't moved. Baltimore's an over team with the 32 defense. We thought, well, it's just Buffalo. That's why they're defense. No, they got burned by Detroit too. Can KC burn them for 30? I don't think so. Kelsey's he's so into this getting married to this girl. It's ridiculous. I honestly wouldn't play Kelsey. I'd just say, go marry the girl. And when you're done with that, then you can come back on the team. Otherwise, I wouldn't. His mind is on the girl and on the marriage, not on football. He shouldn't be there. KC, as we said, strong, not a strong home dog, but very rarely a home dog. But you got him, Mahomes as a home dog. I think Detroit showed you how to beat Lamar, which is rush 5 and keep a couple of spies and just make him throw the ball to beat you, which he can't do. That's why he loses all the big playoff games, because they say you're going to beat us throwing, and he can't do it. Then you got Derrick Henry, who keeps fumbling every fucking game. He's all psycho now. So KC's defense with Spagnuolo will play the Lions' defense, right? You got KC as a home dog. Baltimore, we see, I don't know where their defense is. Harbaugh's got to go. He's terrible. Oh, let's go for 2. We're down 14. Let's go for 2 on the touchdown. No, you go from 14 to 7, 7 to 0. You don't go 14 to 8, because if you don't make the 2-pointer now, you need another touchdown with the 2-pointer to tie. Well, if you just kick your extra point, which you'll probably make 99% of the time, kick your extra point. Then at the end, if you want to go for 2, oh wait, but if you're gonna do that, you should go for 2 on the first one. What kind of horse shit is that? I love these excuses they come up with. You got Mahomes as a home dog. I see Baltimore play 2 good teams get their ass kicked. So I don't know. Their defense, Mahomes will light them up, I think. They got that new receiver who seems to, go catch 50-yard passes. And Kelsey, who's just down. He's terrible. So look for this to be, I think it'll be a tight game. I like KC as a home dog every time. I gave you a second free. Oh, yeah. The second free game I gave you was Houston, Tennessee. They're not going to start. They're 0-3, and they're at home against Tennessee, and they're not going to lose that. Okay, so you got 2 free plays. Green Bay and Dallas. Okay, so let's talk about that, Todd. Green Bay laying 7, 47.5. Love against Dak. 2 interception Dak. Green Bay an 18 with the 15 defense. Micah Parsons going back to Dallas. Forget that. Dallas is an over team with a 31 defense. After the way they played Cleveland. Now, Cleveland's got a much better defense than Dallas. With Miles, what you call it? I want to call him Miles Franklin. That's the silver guy. With Miles and the Penn State guy, they have a better defense than Dallas does now that they don't have Micah Parsons. So, okay, Green Bay struggled a little after the loss. I think Green Bay's pissed because now they're tied with Detroit, so they kind of have to win this game. And they're going against a weak defense and without CeeDee Lamb. Let's double check CeeDee Lamb here. I think he's out for a month. I don't know what he got. What did he get? He's out with an ankle. And then Green Bay injury. Jaden Reed is out with the collarbone. Tucker Kraft, the tight end, questionable. Wicks is questionable. Hobbs, the cornerback, is questionable. Micah Parsons is questionable with a back, but that was 9-5, and he's played every game. So CeeDee Lamb's out. So that's all. So that makes Dallas, all they have is offense, and without him, I don't like their defensive coordinator. If you don't blitz Caleb, what are you, nuts? This is your defensive coordinator? And you give up all this to Caleb because you're not blitzing him? So their secondary must really suck if they're not blitzing. But you got to blitz Caleb. You can't play any other. So I think Green Bay bounces back uh, in a not a must-win game. They're just a better team with the better defense. And Dallas doesn't have A, they have Dak Prescott, and B, they don't have CD Lamb, who's one of the best receivers. So I just can't see after the way Green Bay lost, they don't play strong. Is it good enough? Should be. As you're saying, Todd, it's a much better schedule. Well, what it is, it's not necessarily a better schedule. Like we had Green Bay against Cleveland after they won 2 games. Now we got them at Dallas after a loss. We got Houston after 3 losses. So we have a little more meaning with some of these games here. The Dolphins, 2.5, 45.5. Let's talk about a weak favorite. Yeah, this one is. However, the Jets, Fields was out with a concussion. Let's see if he's back. The Jets injuries. Fields questionable with a concussion, and that's 2 days ago. That's Tuesday. Josh Reynolds is doubtful. That's all they got, Josh Reynolds and Fields. Miami, Darren Waller's questionable. Waddle, questionable. Darren Waddle, okay. So that's all we know. Waddle's questionable. So the Jets don't have Fields, which means they got Tyrod Taylor, he's better than Fields. He's a decent, he's an average backup is all he is, but he can move a little bit. Miami's so pathetic. Both teams are pathetic here. The Jets are a W. Miami's a Z. 32 defenses. They don't even get 300 yards of offense. How the Jets put up those numbers against Pittsburgh, you can't explain. I think Fields runs a lot, so that's what hurts the Jets. I think if Fields was playing, this would be an over because he runs and he just gets, he scores. I don't know. He can't throw, but he can run decently. It's like Caleb. Caleb's got this ability to kind of fake out people, but he can't throw worth shit. So this is a tough one. Again, I'd say Miami's a weak favorite. You got Tyrod Taylor, which is better than Fields. So, I'm not going to run and bet the Jets, but I think they're a live dog here. In our last game, Cincinnati, Denver, 7.5, 44.5. Cincinnati, a Z team with 30 defense, which is killing them. And, of course, no Joe Burrow. You go with Browning. Denver's another team with a 21 defense, 300 yards, and Bo Nix. Denver's been struggling. Nix has been throwing too many interceptions. It should be fixed here against Cincinnati, and they're laying 7. So I think since he's probably a decent player, really you're betting against the Z team. Like San Diego, we had the under in the game. We won with the under in the game last week. You just can't. You didn't know how to bet it, but you knew it wouldn't be points. Here, they should. Again, the theory of the Z team is they can't score and they can't play defense. So when you get a Denver, you don't want to go over under with it because you don't know what you're getting on Cincinnati, and Denver's got a great defense. So, hell, if I'm laying 1 point, it's Denver with their offense against the defense should score. And Cincinnati with their offense against this great Denver defense, they shouldn't score much. So it should be Denver at home on a Monday night. So if we look at the Z teams, we got New Orleans and Buffalo. We've got Tennessee against Houston. We've got Miami against the Jets, and they're kind of both Z teams now. And Cincinnati is Z team because Joey Burrow got hurt again. He's got like turf toe, so the toe gets bent back, so it's really painful. And so that's what the surgery is to correct it. So he's out probably 3 months. Be back if they made the playoffs. It's a shame, too, because this would be a great Cincinnati. You give me Cincinnati in 7, and I tease it up to 13 with Joe Burrow all day long. That's a lock all day long, but I lose it, right? Because of Burrow, I can't get that game, and so you bet against it. So there's five obvious Z teams: Cincy, Miami, the Jets, Tennessee, and New Orleans. The other teams we're not sure. Jacksonville was, but they're not this year. Indy's an A team, I guess. The Bears, Oakland, no. Kansas City's actually an under team. They've been kind of an under team the last few years. They don't score that much since they let Tyreek Hill go, but Mahomes knows how to win the games, and they have a great defense with Spagnuolo. So that's what you got to take out of it. Teaser trends. I'll give you the total teaser trend. Tampa Bay, very strong. So all these are over 85% this year and last year. So about the last 20 games. Tampa, the Rams, Washington, Buffalo, Houston, Denver, and San Diego. And that's my back door. If I really need somebody, I did that last week, locking Tampa and Houston. And that's the method of my madness. Where am I locking Tampa and Houston last week? And yet it won. They both covered. And that's the beauty of it. The play against teams are the teams that are pretty weak. If you bet against them, 85%. The JETSs, Indy, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Cincinnati, Dallas, and the Giants. And most of the Indy and Jacksonville is from last year. I think it was Indy that went 0-17. Jacksonville probably, so you go 17-0 betting against Indy, and you were probably 18-2 going against Jacksonville and Tennessee. They all suck. The key is the real bad teams in a teaser lose. So you find your bad teams, you find how to, you bet against them in the teaser, and you're gold. So that's what we got. So Tampa's like little neutralized with Philadelphia. The Rams are doable against Indy. Washington is, depending if they have Daniels, could be doable. It's at Atlanta. Yeah, I should probably like Atlanta. So we'll see if Daniels plays. Buffalo is totally doable against New Orleans. Houston, totally doable against Tennessee. That's why I made it the free pick. Denver, well, they're doable at home on a Monday night against Cincinnati. And San Diego is totally doable against the Giants with, Jackson Dart, the quarterback. So, yes, this week seems a lot. Last week wasn't terrible, but I never got a feel. Some of these weeks you don't get a feel. People don't understand that. You look at a game like Houston, Tennessee, and you go, oh, yeah, this is a Houston play all the way. They're laying 7. They're at home. They're playing a Z team. Yeah, they're not scoring, but there's no way Tennessee's scoring. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get one pick six or one strip sack fumble return for a touchdown. Will Anderson or whatever. I mean, Houston's defense is too good. Cam Ward is not going to do shit in the game. This is the other problem. People are like afraid of Cam Ward was the number 1 draft pick. These are idiot bettors, not as you like to call it, sharp bettors. We're sharp bettors. We're above sharp bettors. So Houston 0-3, must win, playing a Z team, great in a teaser. Check. Okay, that's how we bet them. So that's there. Last week, you had to play him as a road dog at Jacksonville. Here you get him at home against Tennessee. If they don't win this game by 20, I'll be shocked. If they don't win 28-0, I'll be shocked. Or 24, let's say. Just because of the nature, they have to win. I know their offensive coordinator has been a struggle, and C.J. Stroud's clueless. He doesn't know. He's just running to the sidelines. These Ohio State quarterbacks want to run. They don't know how to throw. I don't know. They're good at Ohio State, but it's a whole different system there. Much like the Alabama quarterbacks, and we'll see the Ole Miss quarterbacks Dart won't do anything because he's bred out of that Alabama Lane Kiffin thing. So that's what we got again tonight. I really don't know. I'd probably lean towards the total tonight. I could not play Seattle tonight unless Kyler Murray's out or something. So it'd be very difficult. Let's take a quick look at the injuries on covers. Excuse moi. So let's just focus on tonight's game. Arizona, Zay Jones, the wide receiver, is out. Cornerback Will Johnson, doubtful with a groin. I got some idiot kid playing his trumpet. So that's it. There's 2 injuries. Z Jones being out would lead to an under because that unless he's not a starter, I don't know who these guys are. Let's go down to Atlanta. All I see is injured, but I don't see out. I just see injured. Baltimore injured, Buffalo injured. Maybe I'll get a better detail tonight. Nobody, the Bears, they're all injured, but nobody's out. See, Cincinnati, no injuries report. How about Joe Burrow? Why isn't he on the list? Cleveland, injured but not out. See here, CeeDee Lamb injured with an ankle. Well, he's not playing, but it just says so I can't really look at covers. They're not giving me enough to look at. They're not updating it. It just says injured, and they're all Tuesday. So I think we get the report tomorrow. So maybe this afternoon or tonight, I'll do this, and it'll say, oh yeah, all these are Tuesdays. So nobody's marked out yet. It's ridiculous. All right. So let's go to college ball. So I've posted 2 locks and a third game, which I really love. I'm not quite sure why I didn't lock the third game, which I can do. Sometimes I do that. I put it out, and then the more I think about it, and I turn it into a lock. So that's when I get a real strong sense of what's happening. All right, so let's go through college ball. We've got East Carr against the Army. There's some injuries to East Carr. This has gone from 5.5 to, let's call it 4.5. And a total of 52.5, 53 I'm leaving alone. Army's an over team. East Carr is a B team. Yeah, I think Army's a live dog here, to tell you the truth. But it's Thursday. If any team can travel, it's an Army or a Navy because they're all disciplined. Or at least they used to be in the military. Florida State 760.5. Man, I don't want to fuck with Florida State. I love Virginia, but I don't know. It's a Friday night. Virginia might have an opportunity because it's a short week and it's at home. Virginia can score, but we saw Florida State, and that's the problem against Alabama. That's all we know. TCU, Arizona State. I like TCU until I see TCU's 354. Problem is there's 10 guys out for TCU. Now, are they starters? Are they backups? I don't know. All I know is on the injury list, 10 guys are marked out. So I have to back away. I like TCU in 9. We don't know what these injuries are. And again, we don't know if they're starters, because these teams have a lot of players and a lot of them don't even play, but you wouldn't think they'd be injured if they didn't play. So I'm going to stay away from this. Maybe you take Arizona State lane 3 because 10 players are out. But the key player, John Hoover, the quarterback for TCU, is playing. So you got to be careful there. Houston, 13.5, 47.5. 13.5. There is a couple of 13s. Okay, perfect. And 47.5. Houston is very strong. Good coach, Willie Fritz, as Alex can tell us about Willie Fritz. Very good team. Um, they're an A team with a 9 defense, and they get 400 yards of offense. Oregon State's a Z team. Here we go again. We have the Z team. Now the game's at Oregon State. A 39 defense and 311. So, again, if you bet against the Z teams, here you go with Houston. Bowling Green against Ohio. We're now on Saturday. Ohio 7.5, 51.5. Well, this was down from 9.5, 7.5, I think, or I just spelled it bad. And 51.5. Ohio 29 defense. Bowling Green 24. Ohio's they're the over team here. Bowling Green's the under team. Notre Dame 4.5, 64.5 to Arkansas. Both are over teams. Notre Dame's defense is gone. 33 defense. Arkansas with the 24. They lost to Memphis last week. I think it was 32-31. 32-31. Memphis beat Arkansas in Memphis. Arkansas, so they're coming off a loss. Notre Dame finally got a win against Purdue, and even there it was a 90-point game. So I would think there'd be points in this game. Just Notre Dame's putting them up and can't stop it. Arkansas, I don't love their quarterback. He's one of these dual guys, but he can throw. So we will see. Louisville, Pitt. Louisville 4.5, 58.5. To Pitt, they're both A teams, 16 defense, 19 defense. Do we want to tease the home dog? Maybe. Duke 5.5, 61.5 to Syracuse. I was all in on the over until the quarterback's out. And LA, the backup from Notre Dame, is Syracuse's quarterback. He's out. Motherfucker. So what do we do? That's why the lines moved Duke from 4 to 5.5. Maybe we take Duke. We don't know who the backup is. This is, so what should have been an easy overplay gets fucked because of the what's amazing is the total is 61.5. So the total is going up. Was 60, even though the quarterback's out. Not sure I understand. Georgia Tech 14, 51.5. To Wake Forest. Georgia Tech an A team. We love Haynes King, the coach. 19 defense, and Wake an E team with the 17 defense. Let's see, has Wake played anybody? We know Georgia Tech has. Wake. They beat Kennesaw State 10-9. WCU must be West. I don't know who WCU is. West Carolina? Who's that? So I don't know who they beat 42-10. And then they played NC State and lost 34-24. So I guess we look at the NC State. They lost by 10 to them. And here we got Georgia Tech laying 14, 13.5. Georgia Tech could be live. I'm not scared of Wake. They got 17 defense, 386, but as you see, they played Kennesaw State 10-9. What do you take out of that? Kansas State's terrible. Rutgers mini 5.5, 51.5. Mini is pretty good. Rutgers lost at home to Iowa. Their defense is gone. Their offense is okay, 429. Although he threw the interception, he got hit from behind and the ball got tipped. Otherwise, we should have had that winner. So Minnesota, strong defense, a 12 defense. That's real. They're an A team, one of these, 5-star freshman quarterback type of thing. So we will see. I don't know. I'm not touching Rutgers after last week's abortion. Kansas City, 4.5, 57.5 to Cincinnati. Cincinnati, an E team with the 20 defense. Kansas, an A team with the 16. Kansas, very strong team at home. I don't know why this spread is dropping. It was 6. It's 4.5. I don't buy it. Let's look at the lines. I look. There's no injuries. 4.5, 4.5. There's a 5.5 and a 4.5. So there's no injuries to Kansas. At least none I can see. I didn't see Daniels out, which I thought maybe the quarterback's hurt. Maybe that's why the line's going. Let's see. Probably no injuries. Yeah, no injuries to report. On the other, I don't see anything. So Kansas seems healthy, and I would say they're much the better team here, especially at home. These Big 12 games, because of the going to West Virginia, going to Oklahoma and Texas, it's cross country like the Big Ten is. But here it's at Kansas. It's good. Now there was a hurricane blowing through Oklahoma a couple of days ago, so be careful. I don't know where it is. Keep your eyes on totals. Be very careful. They're always unders. If you get a game near a hurricane and it's raining, it'll be windy. It's an under. Don't even fuck with it. Just go under with it. South Alabama, North Texas, 12.5, 63.5. North Texas, an A team, just killed Washington State. South Alabama, an over team. Pretty good offense, Major Applewhite. UCF, Kansas State, 5.5, 49.5. To UCF. I don't know. Kansas State barely beat North Dakota, and then they lost to the Army. UCF hasn't really beaten anybody, and they got Scott Frost, probably the worst coach at judging talent we've ever seen. I don't know. I don't know enough here to say UCF's a live dog. USC 16.5, 6.5, 60.5. To Illinois. USC an A team with a 19 defense. Illinois an E with the 21. It's a 9 o'clock game for USC, which blows me off of it. Maybe it's an over 60, possibly. I would have taken that, but then Illinois got killed last week. Look for them to play better. It's one of these, the coach, okay, are you men or are you boys? Are you going to quit and cry, or are you going to show that, hey, that was a fluke? Yeah, I can hear the coach talk now. So look for Illinois to play a really good game. I don't know if it's enough to beat USC. They got a good quarterback. And we'll see. Illinois, an E team, 21 defense. Yeah, Michigan State scored a lot on SC last week. Utah State and Vandy, 22.5, 58.5. This is a double. Utah or Vandy, 18 with the 13 defense. Utah State an over team with the 24. Daggio is going to light them up with the 24 defense, and it's Utah State. Vandy, so the question is, does Utah State score on Vandy's defense? Well, let's take a look at Vandy. How did they get to a 13 defense? They give up 21 to Georgia State, 7 to South Carolina, 31-7, VTech 41-20, and CCH, that's a high school team. So in the 3 wins, 20, 21-7, 41-48 divided by 3 is 16. So they got a 16 defense. Okay, they got 13. And they score pretty much 31 on South Carolina is good. Georgia State and VTech. So are they really? They are an A team. Are we getting a lot of points? But I don't see that the defenses are that weak to give us the over. So I don't know. Maybe it's a Vandy play. Central Michigan 654.5 to Eastern Michigan. Central's a W, Eastern's an O. James Madison, Georgia Southern. James Madison 1757. James Madison's a B, Georgia Southern's an O. Lou Monroe 1.5, 52.5. Something happened here. The line dropped a lot on both the line and the total. Arkansas State's a W. Lou Monroe's a Z team. That's probably why. Toledo 21-48.5 against Akron. Toledo off the loss to Western Michigan somehow at home. Akron's a W team who played, and we lost with them 2 weeks ago to somebody we got. UAB beat them 31-28, which you would have thought that they would have scored more and Akron wouldn't score. So here's Toledo with a 14 defense. So I don't think Akron's going to score, but it's 21. So it's a big number. Utah, 12.5, 47.5 to West Virginia. Utah off of the loss, which was really, it was a lot of turnovers. It was because the game was at 10 o'clock in the morning. So the running backs turned it over. Texas Tech had a bunch of turnovers. Utah's defense, now they got to travel to West Virginia. Like I said, this is the hard part. And West Virginia is a W team with a 21. They did beat Pitt. They got killed by my Kansas team last week. So, yeah, they're a W. Utah should be pissed after the loss. But again, it's on the road. San Diego State, 2.5, 43.5 to Northern Illinois. San Diego State, a B team, Northern Illinois, an under team. San Diego State killed Cal last week. Cal, Boston College, BC, 6.5, 52.5. To Cal. Cal has to travel to BC. UConn, 3.5, 47.5. To Buffalo, and their quarterback's out. They have a Kansas State backup as their quarterback, and he's doubtful. Connecticut an over team and Buffalo a B, but without their quarterback, they're probably more of a W. Indiana, Iowa, tough one. Indiana 7.5, 47.5. Both A teams. In the games in Iowa, I don't know. Indiana's the better team for sure. But after beating Illinois, will they be flat and being a road favorite at Iowa? So be careful in this game. Northwestern 6.5, 44.5 to UCLA. UCLA is the Z team. Northwestern is an under team. Rice and the Navy 14, 44.5. Navy's an A team with an 18 defense. Rice is an under team with a 20. Baylor 21, 57.5. This is your free play. They're an over team. Oak State's a Z team. I liked it before they fired the coach, but they fired the coach. Their quarterback's a freshman. He's not very good. Baylor, off of this loss to Arizona State, which was a joke, look for Baylor to light up Oklahoma State with their 31 defense. LSU, Ole Miss 1.5, 55.5. I don't know. We need Bobby on this one. LSU, strong defense, no offense. Newsmeyer isn't doing shit. Ole Miss, this is not a game they normally win. They're an offensive team, and LSU is going to put a sleeper on them. Maybe you go under in the game, 50, 56. A&M, 6.5, 52.5 to Auburn. A&M scoring a lot with the 29 defense. They're an over team. Auburn, a B team. Scored on Oklahoma. By the way, Oklahoma's quarterback's out, broke his hand. He's out. They don't play this week, but they play Texas soon, so we'll see. So this should be an entertaining game, A&M and Auburn. Ohio State and Washington. Ohio State, 8.5, 52.5. Both A teams. Ohio State, really all they did was beat Texas and then Grambling and some crap team last week. Washington really hasn't beaten anybody else. They beat Washington State last week, I believe, at Washington State. They're a live home dog, I believe, here. Ohio State has to travel to Washington. I think Washington can beat them. I love their quarterback, much better than Ohio State's. Ohio State with Matt Patricia as their defensive coordinator, I think it's gonna come back to roost this game. So look for Washington to pull the upset. Air Force 6.5, 53.5. Air Force and over 37 defense. Hawaii and under 21. The quarterbacks has a high ankle spray. Look for I don't know. It's hard for Hawaii when they're not on the island, but Air Force such a weak defense. New Mexico State, New Mexico 14.5, 54.5. They're a B team, and New Mexico State's an under team. New Mexico's the B team. Tulsa off of a loss to Ole Miss, losing by 100, 15.5, 51.5 to Tulsa. Tulane an over team, 26 defense. They can score. They got a good quarterback. And Tulsa an under team with a 20 defense. Look for Tulane to be quite a bit pissed off after the loss to Ole Miss, and this is a conference game. And Tulsa, I don't think can do much. Good game here. Tennessee 7.5, 63.5 to Old Mississippi State. Tennessee, we saw what they did to Georgia. Joey Aguilar ripped them up, and they missed the field goal by 30 yards, or they won the game. It's unfortunate. Old Mississippi State at home beat Arizona State. Be careful with this one. So Tennessee at home is different than Tennessee on the road. Old Mississippi State has a quarterback, Chapin from, I believe it's either Baylor or TCU. He was injured. Now he's healthy. Look out. I don't know. Mississippi State beat Arizona State. I'm very careful to take Tennessee here. Over or under. Mississippi State's been playing lower scoring games, so I'm all confused on this one. But I do like Aguilar. Liberty and Old D. 16.5, 51.5. Old D is the A team. Liberty's the under team. Old D is a good team. Middle Tennessee, Kennesaw State 7.5, 53.5. Middle Tennessee Z team, Kennesaw State's not much better. They're a W. They score a little bit more. Middle Tennessee with the 33 defense, Kennesaw State 25. Middle Tennessee's just terrible. So the question is how bad is Kennesaw State? Memphis 14-62 over Florida Atlantic. This is a conference game. Memphis, A team, 16 defense, 450 yards a game. Florida Atlantic an over team, 30 defense. So Memphis should light them up pretty good. Florida Atlantic can score, and they are at home. We got to watch the Hurricanes. What's going on there? So if you see the line go from 62 to 59 or 58, there's a hurricane. So watch the line. As long as it stays at 62, you're fine. North Carolina State 10, 58.5 to VTech. VTech's terrible this year, falling apart. NC State's turning into an over team. Both defenses suck. They're both 30s. Southern Miss 4, 53.5 to Jacksonville State. Wow, this total's dropped, I think. Southern Miss, 4, 53.5. It was 56. We'll call it 54. Jackson State's the W team, 23 defense. Southern Miss is the old Marshall team, over team with the 26. Very good quarterback, very good coach, the Marshall coach. This should be a game Southern Miss can win. Iowa State 6.5, 49.5. Yeah, hello.
Hey, what are you doing?
I'm still doing class. Football's a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm at the clinic. You want to get me when you're done?
Yeah, I'll give you a call when I'm done. Shouldn't be too much longer.
Okay, bye.
Mm-hmm. Where was that? Arizona, Iowa State. Arizona has some injuries that are a problem. Iowa State, they're both A teams. Iowa State 7. It's a 14 defense. We saw them beat Kansas State in Dublin, and then we saw them beat Iowa. So they're a good team. They don't really blow you out. I would imagine this is a close team. Keep your eye on the injuries. I thought there was an injury or something with Arizona. Maybe somebody was questionable. But two good defenses, 49 total. Not sure which way you go with it. Fajita was a good quarterback a couple of years ago for Arizona. The coach moved to Washington. Boom. And you can see that Washington's gotten better as the coach went better. He got a good quarterback. See, the key is that when the coach takes over, he gets a good quarterback, like Signotti did at Indiana last year and again this year. And see, that's the key to it. You need the quarterback. That's some of these teams, like Ohio State, Texas has no quarterback. Arch Manning's terrible. I mean, there's 25 guys I can read off here are better than Arch Manning. Anyway, Western Kentucky, 4.5, 62.5 to Missouri State. Missouri State, we don't know. They're a Division II team that had to play USC and get killed 77-13. So we'll see. Western Kentucky, we know is explosive. They got a good quarterback. It's a weird line. I got 14 and their line's 4.5. I'm like, 4.5. Check the injuries there. Boise, 15.5, 16.5 to App State. App State's doesn't have the quarterback this year. Joey Aguilar's at Tennessee now. And Boise, they're getting used to not having Gentry. They're an over team. They're scoring at home. They're laying 17. Stanford, San Jose State, both teams stinks. Stanford's 3, 49.5. Missouri, 44.5, 56.5. To UMass, the worst team in Division I, who could probably lose to most of the Division II teams. 44 is a big number, but Missouri's lighting it up lately. An A team, 16 defense. Mass is a Z with a 39. They only get 185 yards a game, and UMass and Missouri's 540. So you tell me. Good coach in Missouri, very good quarterback. Do you want to lay 44 is always the question. Colorado State, 5.5, 50.5 to Washington State. Colorado State's an under team, 24 defense. Washington State got buried by Washington last week and got buried by North Texas the week before. They're a W team with a 35 defense. We'll see. Colorado State, you'd think should win. They don't score that much, though. We'll see. 2 back-to-back games of the day. We got Oregon. We got Penn State, 3.5, 52 over Oregon. They're both A teams. 9 defense against a 6 defense. Penn State hasn't played any. Oh, they beat Villanova. Oregon at least beat Oregon State, who's a rivalry. What do you got here? 2 unknowns. It's a whiteout. I know people are betting Penn State because of the whiteout, which now I was addressing this game when my internet blew yesterday, so I couldn't finish it. Let's take a look at it. Oregon. So they beat Mose, whoever that is. They kill Oklahoma State, who's a Z team, 69-3. They kill Oregon State, 41-7, who's also a Z team. Now, are they a Z team because they played Oregon? Probably. And then they beat Northwestern at North. So at least they traveled to Northwestern and won 34-14. I think Oregon's going to score. I don't know. Let's see this wonderful Penn State defense. Let's see. They beat Nevada 46-11, Florida International 34-0. Oh yeah, and Villanova. So okay, they haven't played anybody good. Nevada is not very good. Yeah, that's Colorado State. Nevada's terrible. You can't count Villanova and Florida International. I don't know. Okay, all 3 games have been at home. This game's at home. To me, okay, total of 52. We probably won't get injuries, and let's check if we get injuries. I don't think so. Yeah, we don't get injuries here. The problem is everybody knows Dante Moore sucked at UCLA. And so they go, oh, he sucks. Well, they did the same thing with Bo Nix. They said he sucks at Auburn. And then he goes to Oregon, he lights it up. And so people are looking and not understanding they're in a different offense. They're in a, he's matured, This is why, as a freshman, you can't just throw these guys in, or in the NFL, Cam Ward, you can't just throw him in. He doesn't know anything. There's no way he's going to do a good job. So that's what you got to realize. So with this case, Dante Moore is playing much better at Oregon. All right, at least they beat Oak State and Oregon. At least Oregon State. At least they're real teams. Villanova, you're beating Villanova, and you're beating Florida International, and somehow you get ranked number 2 or 3 or 4, whatever they're ranked. The whole rankings are bullshit. You've got to be kidding. Why isn't Missouri number 1? They went and beat Kansas. Who did Penn State beat? Who did Ohio State beat? Some shit Texas team. I'll give Ohio State number 1 if they can go to Washington and win. But when Washington wins the game, I expect Washington to be number 1. Or Missouri. Texas Tech beat Utah. That was a big win. So we'll see Utah bounce back. So that's what I got with it. I don't know. Do we go over or under 52 with this game? It's tough. It's a 7:30 game, so it won't hurt Oregon. It'll be 4:30 for them. If anything, it'll hurt Penn State. It's a real tough game. I'd probably put it in the 50s. I think it's probably an over. I don't think they're going to stop Oregon, and I think Penn State can score, but we don't like the quarterback. I don't know. It's a hard one to call. Maybe it's an under. They got a 9 and a 6 defense playing nobody. We'll see. Oregon, probably a live dog. Alabama and Georgia. Georgia 352.5. I guess Georgia's got this big home winning streak that Alabama would love to crush. Alabama, we know, they got their ass kicked by Florida State and then played 2 nobodies. Georgia did the great win against Tennessee, being down 28-7 and coming back. I think this is a close game. Total of 53, 52.5. Again, I don't think the defense is there. Alabama played Lou Monroe 73-0. So when they played Florida State scored on them. I think Georgia should put up points. I think Alabama will put up points on Georgia because we saw Georgia give up 1,000 to Tennessee. So it's not my Georgia defense that doesn't give you 10 points a game anymore, but we adjust to it. So I don't know. I mean, is Alabama a live dog? I don't know. After getting killed by Florida State, it's hard to say. You beat 2 nobodies, so all of a sudden Alabama's fixed. It's a must-win for Alabama, but it's a must-win for Georgia. It should be a good game. Probably tease the dog, take the total some way. Maybe it's an over, possibly. We will find that out. Kentucky, South Carolina, 5.5, 46.5. Lenoris did play last week. It's an under team, a 20 defense, although Vanderbilt lit them up, but Kentucky doesn't have offense. Probably an under game. Kentucky games are like go under. A lot of these teams just go under, go over. They're, like Texas State's probably an over, and you would think that Iowa's an under team, stuff like that. Marshall 1.5, 46.5 to Lou Lafayette. Lou Lafayette's quarterback's out. That's why they're not that good. We've got 46 total. Marshall's an even team with 26. Lou Lafayette's a W with the 28. What do you do there? Don't know. Again, you don't have a quarterback, and Marshall's not Marshall. They got a whole new team, so I don't know what to do with them. UTEP LTAC 3.5, 47.5 to UTEP at UTEP. UTEP's Texas El Paso. LTAC is Louisiana Tech. They're a B team with a 14 defense. UTEP's an E with a 26. So in the mix of this, LTAC is the better team here. But you got to go to UTEP, and it's 9 o'clock at night. And your last game at 10 o'clock, BYU travels to Colorado. BYU 6 and 48.5. BYU, an A team with a 5 defense, with a freshman quarterback. Colorado with a new quarterback. Prime, an E team with a 22 defense. I wouldn't touch Colorado in this game. BYU could be the total could be the play here. This BYU 5 defense is for real, so be careful with that. Z teams. We start Friday night, Oregon State against Houston. Oregon State's a Z. We've got Lou Monroe is a Z, as is, we'll call Art State a Z. They're a W. Akron a W. West Virginia a W to Utah. UCLA a Z team to New Northwestern. Oak State a Z team to Baylor. That's why it's a free play. Plus Baylor's off of a loss, and they got the best quarterback in the country in Robertson. And Dagio Pava, he's good too. Middle Tennessee is Z with Kennesaw State's a W. VTech is a W to NC State. Jacksonville State's a W to Southern Miss. Missouri State's a W to Western Kentucky, skewed by they had to play USC and give up 70 points. San Jose State and Stanford are both W's, play each other. UMass, a Z team to Missouri. Washington State's a W to Colorado State. Lou Loff is a W because their quarterback's out. That's about it there. Go to www.teaserking.com, and I do have one lock in college, one lock in pro, and I will post a bunch of picks. This should be, well, last week should have been a good week, but it didn't happen that way, which is kind of like saying, how does Green Bay lose to Cleveland, right? That's kind of what you're seeing, and you don't know. You're like, but that was a good pick. The picks were good. The results didn't show the picks. Green Bay losing. Dallas can't play against the Bears. I mean, what are you going to do with it? Anyway, so again, Teaserking, again, 2 locks posted. Free play in college is Baylor off of a loss against the Z team. And we've got both Detroit and Houston as the free plays in pros. I'm giving you an extra one. All right. We talked about Vegas again. Let's talk about the economy. The economy works because people have money and they want to buy things, and you're selling them to it. If we were to go AI like 100%, you would not have an economy, because basically the theory of AI is I don't have to pay my workers. Okay, but then you won't have anybody buying your products, because the worker gets paid and then he takes his money and pays his bills, and whatever's left, he takes a vacation. He goes out to eat. He goes to the grocery store. He buys golf clubs, whatever it is. That's the theory of Say's law, and that's what happens in an economy. But if you take all the workers out of the economy by going AI, nobody's getting paid, which means nobody has money to buy goods and services. So your economy is zero. So these idiots trying to do AI to eliminate workers don't understand they're eliminating their own companies. Who's going to buy Amazon? Who's going to buy Microsoft? Who's going to buy Apple? Nobody will have money, because if nobody's working, nobody has money to buy things, and you wouldn't even have an economy, or the government would be supporting everybody. But so is that how we're going to spend our money? Is the government printing money out of thin air? So that's really the issue. we know what money is. It's a medium of exchange. It's what's used to pay people. So if I want to buy glasses, well, how am I going to buy it? Well, I need something to exchange for the glasses, for the Canadian Club, for the avocado, for my beer coffee mug. I need to have something to trade with them. It's a fair trade. So you're trading, for a pen. I'm trading X amount of dollars for a pen or for an avocado. I'm paying X amount for an avocado. And that's what it is. So that's what money is. It's a way to trade it. They used to do tulips in Amsterdam until there was a problem with the tulips, and it was a frost or something, and they didn't have tulips. And if they didn't have tulips, then what would they use to trade? It's always a fair trade. How much will you give me for the avocado? And even that, they're pushing up to like $2.29 now, which is a little bit high. So I go to Walmart and buy them for 99 cents. Say, fuck it. It's an avocado. I mean, it's the same. It's a fruit actually. So that's what you're looking at. You're looking at what is needed to make the trade. So all money is a trade, right? It's an instrument used to trade for goods and services, and they pay you for your skill. If let's say I'm in finance, so they pay me so much a week to use my finance skill set to do budgets or whatever they need, Excel work or whatever. So I do that. I read the ledger. They pay me for that. And then I take the money and then go buy. That's how the economy works. That's how the trade works. So they're trading you to do that, right? So they're like, okay, Howard, how much do you want? Oh, okay, yeah, you want 120,000 to do finance. Okay, so it's a trade. You're going to pay me X to do finance work. I'm then going to pay X to get a steak or chicken or fish or whatever, or hamburgers, and that's really what it's all about. It's all about trade. That's what Austrian economics is. That's what free trade is. It's fair trade. It's free trade in the fact there's no taxes. It's fair trade that you feel like you're getting a fair trade. You're giving enough money to get so the Canadian Club. Now let's use the avocado. If this is $20, nobody's buying it. At $1, yeah, I'll buy it. So it's that's the point. And what Vegas is trying to do, so we take it all the way to Vegas. People are saying it's not a fair trade. You're trying to hit me with resort fees, parking fees, higher food and drink prices. It's not a fair trade. It's not what I'm willing to give you to go there. And then you make the gambling more expensive by $50 hands of blackjack, and your odds suck. So why would I want to gamble there? Why would I want to go there? And that's the problem with Vegas and Disney and McDonald's. They've raised their prices, so people are not anticipating it's a fair trade. And how do you fix Vegas? By making it a fair trade again, which is, there's no parking and there's no resort fees and there's no, there's free drinks and you can watch football games for nothing and play poker. And, the hamburgers will be $8 for a burger. Just like I go to Coney, it's $7 for a half pounder. When I go to Culver's, it's $7 for 2 patties, which I guess is a quarter pounder. So that's the point of it. That's what it is. And then you go, yeah, that's a fair trade. But the same hamburger I'm getting at Coney for $7 is $30 on the strip. What are you, nuts? No, that's not a fair trade. $30 for a steak, but not $30. I can go to my barbecue place. They have steaks, and I could go get a steak there for I think $25. I can get a nice big 16-ounce steak or whatever. That's a fair trade. I can get the ribs and chicken. That's a fair trade. That's why I say when at $30, you have a market. If you knock this to 45, these people will not consider it a fair trade. And when I reversed it for gold, a fair trade in gold is $20,000 and it's only 3,700. That's how it works in reverse. Is we think the fair trade because we know this is worthless and you have to own gold. The Bitcoiners are trying to make this bullshit with Bitcoin. Oh yeah, if you have Bitcoin, it's 100,000. Like that's a fair trade? No. What is it? We don't know. Then we come to find out Michael Saylor's the only one buying it, and Trump, and maybe Larry Fink. Stay away from gold and silver ETFs and stocks because the ETFs are not physical. And when you want to get it, they won't give you physical. So if you are trying to get out of the dollar by getting gold, the last thing you want to do is the only thing you want to do is get into physical. The last thing you want to do is get into ETFs and stocks thinking that, oh, well, I have gold there. You don't, unless it's physical. And again, pretend this is gold. Unless I can hold it in my hands and it's there, it isn't real. And that's what you got to realize. So keep that in mind. Otherwise, that's what's happening at Disney. It's not a fair trade. Nobody wants to go. At McDonald's, they're saying a value meal and they're lowering their price. Again, it's not a fair trade. To go to McDonald's where they don't even have real food, you got to be crazy. But that's the problem. It's not a fair trade, so you don't go there. That's the key to it. And that's basically how a market works. I'm willing to spend my money if I feel I'm getting value for it. But even this value isn't worth anything. This is not worth $1. It's worth 1 cent. $100 is only worth $1. You're not getting value for your dollar. That's why you trade it for gold and silver because they're going up and they'll always go up because this is bankrupt and, $37 trillion debt. I hear, oh, well, Trump's trying to inflate his way out of the debt. He can't. So if we keep making the dollar worthless, I won't owe the debt. Yes, you will. You'll owe in whatever currency you come up with, either gold or a dollar or Bitcoin, whatever you're coming up with. The $37 trillion debt transfers to whatever the new medium of exchange is. So you can't inflate your way out of it. That's bullshit. And as far as I'm concerned, Bitcoin's a Ponzi scheme because it's not real. You don't know what it is. Oh, it's limited to 21 million. How do you know? Tell me what it looks like, please. You can't. It's bullshit. It's not real. Gold is real. We can see it and you can hold it. And, so the trade of the dollar for the gold is such a joke. It's huge for our gold, for buying the gold and silver. It's a joke. You're giving away a worthless piece of paper that has no value except for this. It says 100 on it or 1 or 10. For gold, that's actually worth something going up in value. It's such a simple premise. It's a fair trade to trade worthless dollars for real money and real gold. And you buy physical, you don't buy anything else. And it's such a simple concept, and yet people don't want to admit their stock money's worthless and their money in the bank's worthless and all this. So keep that in mind. Let me see if that's Alyssa again. Yeah. So anyway, that's what's happening. So with that, I leave you. Your free picks are take Baylor over Oak State, who's a Z team. Laying 20, you lay 14. You got a real good quarterback off of a loss, and you've got. I do have a lock in college, and then you have the 2 pro games. I have a lock in pros. I have Detroit as your free play and Houston. If Houston goes 0-4, they go 0-4. They're playing a terrible team in Tennessee. If they lose it, they lose. There's nothing, we can't control it because we have to play the game before. So therefore, if we're playing the game before, we got to look at it going, yes, I know Houston's kind of weak offense, but they got a killer defense. Tennessee's not going to do anything, and we'll take that. All right, buy your gold, buy your silver. We'll take our last look at gold and silver. And we've got gold 37.34, silver 44.79. We're hunting 45 here. We're hunting 3,800. It just seems to get caught a little bit where, like, when it was 3,500, it would kept going 3,530 to 3,560, 3,600 to 3,660, and now it's 3,700, and then it'll break loose. So 37, 34, just it's going to 4,000. I don't understand these little drops because nobody's selling. It's just options. And when it runs so much like it did, it almost got to 38. There's going to be some down because they're playing games with it. It's options. So remember that. It's not going to just keep going. We did get that on Monday, but now you can see a little pullback, which is not profit taking. It's bullshit options. The options got high. They could short them, and they would get some down on it. And that's all this is. It's nobody's selling gold. All right, everybody. Well, have a good day. www.teaserking.com. There's a game tonight. I don't think I played it. No. Yeah, I'm not playing the game tonight. I did play a game tomorrow. And then the full slate Saturday or Sunday I will post tonight. I'm just waiting for some injuries and some fields. All right. www.teaserking.com. Thank you. Have a great day.